deed is done.
What can I say? They were the best. They really stood out. They put it all together when it counts, and that's what the sport's all about.
What a routine.
And that just may do it for Georgia here tonight.
Wow.
The Jim Dog Show is brought to you by Melwood Springs. Melwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Yocklin, and welcome to the Jim Dog Show. With me today is assistant coach Julie Clark. This is Jay's wife. She used to be Julie Ballard and a member of our 1998 national championship team. Julie's been coaching with us for over 8 years now and is the head coach on floor exercise this year. We just finished our competition against University of Kentucky and Centenary. It was the first time this year that we had a tri-meet, and because of that, we competed in Olympic order. The team was excited to be able to start on bars and go from bars to beam, and we're looking forward to this competition. For the first time, we've got 3 all-arounders in the meet. Talk about that, Julie.
Yes, it's really good to have these 3 girls, Tiffany, Courtney, and Hillary, competing for the first time in the all-around. Hillary, and it's a great support for the other girls who are competing, that they can support them as the all-arounders and knowing that they're going to have a really good anchor to put them through the end of the competition.
This should be a great competition. We start off on the uneven bars. Let's take a look at the first rotation. First up for Georgia's Marcia Newby. We moved her into this position a couple weeks ago, and this is a great first up routine for us. It really sets the pace for the rest of the team, as Marcia is pretty efficient with hitting all of her vertical handstands. They're straight body, which is no more bonus or credit than a straddle up handstand, but it looks nice that she can get to the vertical. You can see a couple little form breaks from her right here with her knees and her toes on her giant swings. And she does a double layout dismount. New this year, and she does it well. Chest is low. That is a 1/10 deduction to have her chest down, and she scores a 9.825. But again, that's a great start for us. Second up on uneven bars is Catherine Ding. This freshman has been very consistent on this event this year. She missed one routine at the beginning of the season, and since that point has been averaging around a 9.8. The giant full pirouette is not to the vertical position, which is one of her main deductions every single week. You can see here that she misses the handstand pirouette, but that is not a deduction, as she keeps her rhythm going throughout the routine, so maybe a 1/2. Nice handstand at the end, and that's a great cover from Kat. That could have been a major mistake, but she hung in there strong till the end, double layout, and a small step at the end, but you can see she got her chest up nicely, and she scored a 9.85, so we're building from that first routine of Marcia. Third up on bars is Hillary Morrow. This is the first time in Hillary's career doing the uneven bars. She is a sophomore for Georgia, but this is not one of her strongest events, and we do have a lot of depth on this event. But she is near her hometown of Cincinnati and has a lot of friends in the audience that came to see her, so Hillary is competing all around for the first time. Nice bar routine from Hillary, good handstands. The ginger was a little bit low and below the bar, but overall a nice routine. And a little bobblehead there on the landing. We tease her about that, but other than that little jerky landing, you can see Jay motion that. She did have a good routine and scored a 9.85. Next up on bars is Grace Taylor. She's a junior, and she scored a perfect 10 on this event as a sophomore. She's been struggling right here on this front stalter, but you can see that she did it very well. Her arms were straight, and that's often a problem for her, the muscle there. But so far, this is one of Grace's best routines of the season. Here's her Comanche, which she's known for doing, the only collegiate gymnast that performs that skill. And she prepares for another double layout dismount. You can see a very straight body in the air, which we like, and a stuck landing. And she had a great routine and a score of 9.925. Fifth up on the uneven bars for Georgia is Tiffany Tolnay. Tiffany is the senior. You can see the team getting excited there with the scores. And here comes Tiffany. And Tiffany has some of the best lines on bars for our team. She always hits that vertical. Here's the giant with a half turn right to vertical and a nice high Jaeger release, straddle Jaeger. You see again a nice handstand to the vertical position. Her amplitude's very good and her execution's excellent. Legs are always straight, toes are pointed. There's another nice handstand. I don't have any deductions yet. There's the giant full. Could be a little bit more on top, maybe a 1/2 there. Nice dismount and a small step on the landing, and she scores a 9.9. Good solid routine for Tiffany. Last up on bars is Courtney Kupets. Now this lineup has been sort of our regular bar lineup with the exception of Hillary being in it this week. Courtney McCool will be back in one more week, so that'll really be a great addition for us. Here's Courtney Kupets, the two Courtneys, both Olympians. top gymnast for Georgia. You can see her hop full was a little bit of an arched back and out of vertical. There's a nice handstand there. Getting ready for her dismount. Double layout, and she keeps lifting at the end. Very nicely done, and she scores a 9.95. I really felt like the hop full could have been the half a tenth deduction that she received in this particular meet. So overall, one of the best bar scores for the team of the season, 49.475. And as I mentioned before, we rotate over to the balance beam, which is the first time this year that we've been in this order.
The Gym Dog Show is brought to you by Melwood Springs. Melwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia. By GeorgiaDogs.com. GeorgiaDogs.com, the official website of the Georgia Bulldogs. By Brown Arrowhead Clinic. Arrowhead Clinic, Georgia's largest spinal healthcare organization. By Athens Regional Medical Center. At Athens Regional, we have a specialty. You. By Alpha Factor. Alpha Factor, the official gymnastics apparel worn by the Gym Dogs. By the Georgia Club. The Georgia Club, a community of neighborhoods in Bulldog Country. By Phil Hughes Honda. Phil Hughes, the official Honda of the Georgia Gym Dogs. And brought to you by John Bull's stores in the Bahamas. John Bull, the shopping mecca of the Caribbean.
Ask Suzanne, brought to you by GeorgiaDogs.com, and this week's question is, how are the teams ranked in the country? And the answer is, this week we move to RQS ranking, which is the regional qualifying score. Every team takes their top 6 scores, with a minimum of 3 of them being road scores. You throw out the high and average the other 5, and that gives you your regional qualifying score, which ranks Georgia number 2. That's Ask Suzanne, brought to you by GeorgiaDogs.com.
Welcome back. What a great start it was for us to start out on bars and to get our highest team score as well as our highest away score on bars. So it's a great way to start the meet, to build the momentum that we've been trying to do, and now we're going to head over to beam.
That's exactly right, Julie. I mean, we talked in the locker room prior to this competition the importance of momentum, setting that tone right on that first event and then keeping it going. And balance beam has been a good event for us this week in practice, so I'm optimistic. We once again have put our freshman Kat Ding last up in the lineup so we can get all those experienced athletes up first and hopefully hit those 5 routines and take that pressure off the freshmen. So that worked last week, so let's see what happens this week when we go over to the balance beam. So now we get ready to go over to balance beam. We have a great start on bars and you know, one of our best scores of the season so far. And we moved to beam, and we've got Hillary Morrow. Now last week we had a team high on balance beam of above a 49.4. So hopefully we can keep the momentum going and we can have another week of a good set on beam. Hillary's very solid. She is definitely not feeling the pressure of having her club coach Mary Lee Tracy in the audience along with her family. That was a small half a tenth deduction there for the front tuck. Here is her leap series. It's a cat leap to a switch side, and she had some flexed feet there that she needs to point. And here's her dismount, the round up double twist. Again, the landing is a little jerky for her as she steps and the chest is down, and Hillary scores a 9.85. And here's another sophomore, Cassidy McComb. Cassidy and Hillary are roommates, and Cassidy has been a regular on this event this year. She only competed beam twice as a freshman, scoring 9.8 both times, but she's a regular every week on this event, and I like her flight series right there at the beginning. I think that's one of the best things she does. A 1/10 deduction there for the landing of her flight series. Not as good as it typically is. And here's her moonwalk, which she's carrying over the tradition from Nikki Childs, who was the first gymnast to do this, who graduated last year. And now comes Cassidy's front tuck. Every routine is required to have a front or side salto or acro skill. And she did that pretty nicely. And now her leap series is coming up next. That's also a requirement. 2 leaps or jumps in a row. And she does a switch leap to a tuck with a full turn. And she was a little off, so she's got a few minor half-tenth deductions throughout this routine. Hopefully she can save the score by getting a stuck dismount. Now, if you move your foot even a little bit on the dismount, it's a 1/10 deduction, but she sticks. So that was great to see right there, and she scored a 9.8, actually a little high because she did have quite a few wobbles in that beam routine. Here's Tiffany Tolnay, a senior for Georgia this year. She's competed balance beam in every single meet of her career. Small arched landing right there. Could have fallen, but she saved it. That was a half-a-tenth deduction. Flip-flop layout, no deduction. Here comes Tiffany's front tuck. Switch side, straddle into an immediate back tuck, and that's a hard combination. Another half-tenth deduction there So she's got 2 halves right there. Nice front tuck. Chest was a little low, though. She needs to have her chest up when she lands. And her dismount, which is a switch leap, small bobble again, and a gainer full off the side. So Tiffany did have 3 or 4 small bobbles there and scored a 9.825. And again, that could have been a little high. Next up is Grace Taylor. She's added that one arm release to her mount to make it a little bit more original. And she starts out with a one arm back handspring, immediate back pike. And Grace is so fluent on this event and has so much confidence. You can just see how she competes, that she has a lot of confidence. There's never any doubt at all. Nice leap series with a lot of amplitude there. There was a large hesitation there, more so than normal. Not a deduction, but she typically doesn't do that. And here's her front aerial, which is the requirement to do a front or a side acro skill. And her dismount, back handspring, double twist. Really slow and sluggish. That was a 2/10 deduction. And Grace scores a 9.8, so that was about the only deduction in the routine. Here's Courtney Coupette, and that leap mount, which is just a way to get up on the beam. She's got to be careful that she doesn't get a deduction for it, because that back leg was dragging a little bit. And here's her leap series, and I love that it's later in the routine and not right at the beginning. That's so much more difficult. Cat leap switch side, which meets the 2-jump requirement. And her dismount, switch leap, gainer layout, difficult combination to an immediate gainer full. Small little bobble there coming out of the gainer layout. And Courtney scores a 9.9. So a great beam set for Georgia. A little wobbly, small mistakes here and there. So, you know, it was good to see us stay on the beam, even though we did have some wobbles throughout the routine.
Hello, my name is Samantha Simonson, and my question is for Hillary Morrow, and what is her favorite event?
Hi, Samantha. Thank you for the question. My favorite event is the floor exercise. I love being able to use all my energy and enthusiasm and love getting the crowd involved.
Hi, my name is Liz Bell. My favorite thing about UGA Gym Dogs Gymnastics is Abby Stack's floor routine. I especially love the way she ends every routine falling flat on her back. Go, Abby.
Welcome back. Well, that was a good rotation. We did have a lot of wobbles, but what's important right now is that we had nothing major. We did not have to count a fall. We had 5 routines, 2 stuck dismounts out of 5, so we need to go back and spend some more time on the dismounts. But overall, I thought it was a good rotation. The team is having fun. They look like they're pretty loose, and I think they're looking forward to going to floor exercise, and right now, they seem pretty confident. What do you think, Julie?
Absolutely. I think the momentum is going exactly the way that we planned for it to go, from bars to beam and now coming to floor, which is a very exciting event for us. They're excited, they're enthusiastic, they love to perform, and that's exactly, I think, what we're going to see here tonight. I think they're ready for this competition on floor. I think they're ready to just nail all their landings. We started out this week on working basics and working the direction and making sure that their technique is where it should be before they get into the big skills, so I'm excited to see.
Going into this last part of the competition, floor exercise and vaulting, things are going well. Let's see what happens. The girls are having a lot of fun, just joking around, getting ready to go to floor exercise. We've got 2 solid events already under our belts, and we're pacing a 197, mid-197 score right now. So hopefully we can keep it going. And we start with Abby Stack. This triple full has given her a little bit of a problem up until this meet. You can see that she still overblocked it. She's not really getting stood up. Middle pass is nice. That first pass, though, was probably a 2/10 deduction. And her last pass, double pike, and she goes up pretty good there, but a big lunge out. You see that front leg slide. That is a deduction. I see 2/10 on the first pass, 1 on the last, probably around a 9.7. She scores a 9.775, so they probably didn't take as much on the first pass as I did. But she's got to get that tumbling a lot better before postseason. Next up is Hillary Morrow, and this is where the scoring gets a little bit crazy for me. As I said, Abby scored 9.775 on the first pass, and you saw Hillary come through with a great double Arabian, maybe a 0.5 deduction for the legs apart, but other than that, just a superb routine. She is really performing this routine well. The team is into it. The audience is into it. She has a great smile on her face, and that's what floor exercise is all about. It's all about having fun. Middle pass back, 1.5, front full. Again, a pretty big lunge there, maybe 0.5. So I've got 2 0.5 deductions for Hillary, but overall, nothing major. She has good leaps, good amplitude on her leaps. Coming up right here, you'll see her switch side, which is a C, to an immediate Popa, which is another C. C plus C is 1/10 bonus. and that was completed all the way around, so she did that very well. She's getting ready for her UGA part, which we love, and she stands up here and does the arm motions for UGA with the audience participation. This is, like I said, a great routine for Hillary. Here goes the UGA. That was the G. And last pass, double pike, and this is a huge double pike for a 4'8". Actually, it wasn't as huge as normal. She laid it back with the shoulders, and you can see her lay back and go back more than up. So that should be a 10th deduction as well. And she scored a 9.825, which to me there should have been a bigger difference between her score and Abby's. You saw Grace on her first pass again, lean back with the shoulders. But on the double tuck right there, she went straight up and down. These girls are really getting that lean instead of the lift. A lean again on that, and bent knees on the landing. That should be a 1/10 deduction for Grace. We are a little sloppy still. We're in the mid part of the season. These routines need to really improve execution-wise. She scores a 9.85, and that's about what it's worth. Cassidy up next has a nice double pike. Whoa, another one that never got stood up off the floor. The technique is just not there on those first passes. Now here's Cassidy on her double tuck, and you can see the nice lift. She definitely went up and stretched, and it was much better on the second pass. Last pass, back 2.5 to an immediate front tuck. That's been giving her some problems, but she nailed it. A little sideward movement, and that should be a 0.5 deduction. But overall, a good routine for Cassidy. She scores a 9.8. And next up for Georgia is Courtney Kupets. She went a little bit around the side on that double Arabian. She never really got stretched over the top. Flexed feet as well. Again, form. Nice middle pass. You can see a little piking in on the Rudy. That needs to be straight body. Double pike at the end. Nice lift, and that's why you get the nice landing. Very nice last pass for Courtney, and she scores a 9.9. But overall, that double Arabian at first pass is a little bit flat, legs apart, feet flexed. So all the girls on the Georgia team need to work some more on those first passes and setting up that direction. Now we rotate over to vaulting, and this is our last event. Hillary Morrow is first up. Nice vault for Hillary. Nice high. A small step on the landing, but overall an excellent vault for Hillary. She scores a 9.775. You can see the lift off the table. Nice body position. About halfway through, she does start to pike a little bit, which is a 0.5 deduction. And she scored a 9.775. Now here's freshman Kat Ding blasting that, and a nice stuck vault. Now, actually, you saw a little bit of pike on her vault as well. You know, when you're live in the arena, you can't really see this as well as you can on the videotape. But a stuck landing, of course, is important. But you can see she comes off the table, and she has a little pike right there as she comes down. And that piked-in landing does cost you a 10. She scored a 9.9 and probably a little bit high. But considering the other vaults, she did get the landing. Now, here's Marcia Newby, and this is a strange vault here. Nice rise. Ow, she lands stiff-legged. Scared the doo-doo out of all of us. We were like, what happened there? But we're asking her, you know, what did you do already? You can see the beautiful rise off the table. And she doesn't bend her knees when she contacts the floor. She stiff-legged the floor, and that's exactly what Gina Nuccio did last week in warm-ups and ended up being out for 3 weeks. So Marcia is very fortunate. No injury. She walked away from it fine. And now we've got Courtney Kupets. And she flies forward with a big hop, a 2/10 deduction, 1.5 deduction, I'm sorry. And you can see that she's got a little shoulder angle, flips downward a little bit, and has a 1.5 hop and scores a 9.825. So not great vaulting from Georgia. And here's Tiffany Tolnay, Yurchenko with a full twist. And you can see, again, a little pike and steps forward. She's going for the stick instead of going for the height, and she scores a 9.85. So the vaulting is definitely not as strong for us. Nice vault in the air for Tiffany until the landing. She was trying to land straight body like she normally does, but didn't have the height that she normally has, and that's why she stepped forward. And so, you know, with the exception of vaulting, a pretty solid meet for us. We finished with a 196.975, which is a good score this part of the season. Actually ends up being the highest score in the country. So overall, a great road trip. Routine of the Week brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center, and this week's routine was performed by freshman Catherine Ding as she performs a Yurchenko with a full twist for a stuck landing and scores a 9.9, the highest score of the competition on vaulting. That's Routine of the Week brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center. Countdown to the NC2A is brought to you by Melwood Springs. And once again, Utah is ranked #1 in the country, but Georgia is in a close second place. We've got 6 schools out of the 7 in the SEC ranked in the top 10, with the highest ranked SEC school other than Georgia being Auburn, who comes in at number 5. That's Countdown to the NC2A is brought to you by Melwood Springs.
Well, there you have it. What an unbelievable meet we had, getting our momentum back from Auburn to now Kentucky and being able to compete in the Olympic order and having 3 all-arounders. We are undefeated now, and which is such an encouraging thing for us going into this next competition. And I just think we had a great meet. It's going to continue to build the confidence of these girls, and, you know, wonder what you think about that.
I mean, I agree, Julie. It was a good meet. You know, we had wobbles, we had mistakes that could have been bigger mistakes, and they weren't. So, you know, the girls were fighting, and they kept their focus. They weren't distracted by the little mistakes, and that's one of the things that we tell them all the time. You don't have to be perfect to win. And, you know, what's important is that you not react to the little mistakes, but that you keep your focus and keep plugging along, because it's 24 routines before the competition is over, and they all count. You're right. We kept the momentum going. Now we've got Arkansas coming up. Arkansas is currently ranked number 7 in the team, but it's a tough place to compete. It really is. They are gunning for us like everyone else in the country. That target on our back is really, really big as we're winding down our SEC schedule. We've got Arkansas and then Florida left, and that's it in the SEC. So right now we're the only team in the SEC that's undefeated, and we want to keep it that way. So we will see you next week with the results of Georgia versus Arkansas.
The Jim Dog Show has been brought to you by Melwood Springs. Melwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia. By GeorgiaDogs.com. GeorgiaDogs.com, the official website of the Georgia Bulldogs. By Brown Arrowhead Clinic. Arrowhead Clinic, Georgia's largest spinal health care organization. By Athens Regional Medical Center. At Athens Regional, we have a specialty. You. By Alpha Factor. Alpha Factor, the official gymnastics apparel worn by the Gym Dogs. By the Georgia Club. The Georgia Club, a community of neighborhoods in Bulldog Country. By Phil Hughes Honda. Phil Hughes, the official Honda of the Georgia Gym Dogs. And brought to you by John Bull's Stores in the Bahamas. John Bull, the shopping mecca of the Caribbean.